Hello, everybody, and I pressed the wrong button. I didn't really press the wrong button. Let's actually switch to this overlay anyways. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the show. So, all right, cool. We are, like I said, you were kind of drinking with her or whatever, but at some point in time, Fluffernutter, whose name I always forget, came back, and I think he wanted to speak with you. I don't know if he would interrupt you while you're out there entertaining some woman of importance, which is what one of the servants would have told you, is what she was, I don't know, some lady, a woman of prominence is who she's spending time with. She's out back in the sitting area if you wanted to join her.
Okay. Well, that's weird. Sure. Thank you.
They would escort you outside, but they would also say they are drinking wine. Did you need us to get you a different beverage, or would that suffice?
No, I'm all right. Thank you, though. Mm-hmm. I appreciate it. He's very visibly awkward with this whole encounter. It's not something he's comfortable with, but he will go out towards the sitting area and just kind of like approach slowly and just say, Luthira?
Credence.
Hello.
This is Lady Alifi.
Nice to meet you.
Business contact of Nori's. She'll be discussing business matters with us tomorrow.
Wonderful. Well, it's my pleasure.
She gives you like an elegant kind of nod.
Yeah. Would you like me to leave you to your night, or would you like the update from the docks, or what would you like?
That can all be discussed tomorrow.
Certainly. I did just want to pass on that the guardsman who was working at the docks did a very fine job. Worked at the Eastern Docks. His name was Josiah Papa. He asked me to pass his name along.
He sounds very handsome.
It's not. Here, let's roll for attractiveness.
I'll let you decide that.
We'll roll. Hold on one
She
second.
does not say that.
This is so we're rolling because we're playing what system is this?
Fantasy Age.
It's the
Fantasy Age. So we have to roll what is it 3d6, right?
You want me to do that, or you want to do that?
Yeah.
Well, that was, first of all, 3D1 that you rolled there. So, I mean, I know that you were trying to get away with that without anybody noticing it there.
That's hilarious.
Thought you'd get it past us, but you didn't.
So, that's a crit success then. Highest you can possibly get. He's pretty hot, yeah.
He's pretty hot.
I would love, Credence, if you don't mind, letting the staff know that we're making up a room for Lady Alifi.
Oh, of course. Absolutely. Any preference on location?
And I just look to Alifi.
Have you not claimed a room yet?
I would be taking Nori's room.
Obviously. She would say, if you don't mind, she would say to you, being respectful, and she gives you like, oh, the room over by the southeast, sort of thing. She'd be like, the sunlight there in the morning is actually genuinely invigorating.
I'll see what we can do. And Credence will go in and speak to one of the servants and just say, we're apparently making up a room for the Lady of Import. If you'd like, I can help out. It's this room. I'd give the southeast room.
We'll take care of it.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
all right.
Yep.
Well, just for my knowledge, which room is that precise? Would you mind showing me, just for my knowledge? Yeah,
absolutely.
Thank you. And just so I know
they
what
are
room
friendly with you guys, of course, so they would chat with you, but they wouldn't expect you to do anything or whatever. But and Doxy, after he does leave, she does look at you and says, "Question, between one lady or another, can I do a job on that one?"
Did she actually say that? I love it. Crescellin would light up and she would say, I beg you. Please.
Well past those years, I'm just saying. It's not very often you get to see a soldier boy in good form.
He is quite the looker, isn't he?
Is he a Maltese?
He's rough around the edges, and that's all I've got.
Oh, she's like, oh, well, either way. No, it was a little out of sorts for me. My apologies. And you guys get back to like chatting and drinking or whatever. And kind of at this point, we can just flash forward to the next morning anyways, because you two are drinking. He's just studying and eventually has to go.
I would have also, like, I imagine that she would have gotten a little bit tipsy, and she's like just elated that this woman is going to help her get these slaves paid. And like at some point she excuses herself to the restroom or whatever. And like as she passes one of the slaves, she just like and like grabs their shoulders like and like is very happy and then twirls away. And then on the way back runs into the same one and is just like, oh, could we please clean up Lady Alifi's residence? You'll be rewarded, blah blah blah.
Sure. And of course, I'll do whatever you request. Cool. So next morning, please. Please.
I was just going to note that Oscar actually would have gone and spent the night essentially just helping out Laszlo wherever he needed help, but then snoozing throughout where Laszlo was clearly not sleeping. Oscar was definitely sleeping, but like propped up in a chair.
I mean, no, Laszlo, this is the day after. He spent all night the night before.
And
so when you come in...
And this whole day. But yeah, so you come in at the tail end of it, yep.
You come in and Laszlo just has his goggles up. I don't know where I'm doing this. I thought I was doing it in the office, but obviously it wasn't because they already had that conversation there. So I don't know.
You could have been in the office, went elsewhere for a while, came back to the office. So you can be in the office, that's fine.
All right. So he's just sitting at the desk and he has his goggles up and you can, he's very he's almost like he could be the exhaustion or anything, but he's like on the brink of tears when you see him, and in front of him is a stupid seed that he's looking at, and he's like, when you walk in, he goes, I can't figure it out.
Oscar will actually close the door then for that, and he'll come and sit down across from you there, and he'll just say, do you think you're meant to?
I don't know. I'm sick of failing. The more I know, the less I fail, and I keep realizing I know nothing.
So focus on things that you can succeed with. This is something that we pulled out of a chest that shouldn't exist. We're well beyond our depth with that. However, we have a task at hand.
Yes.
You're burning all of your energy on this. And trust me, I understand why. But you burning all of your energy on this, it's only going to hinder us in actually knowing what we need to know to make sure that our Lady Luthira is able to do everything she can to win people over here. We need to understand these people. We need to understand this place. We need to understand everything that's going on here. I will be honest with you. I was so far out of my depth going down to the dock today, talking to that man. It was lovely. He was a good, lovely gentleman and terrible at his job, but very nice guy. But if he was even the least bit scrupulous about his job, I would have failed today. I don't know what I know going into any of this, and I don't have you backing me up on this.
Okay, you're right. And he puts his hands on a book that was left on the desk, and he goes, this looks like this is information on the former owner's family. I don't know if Crescellin pulled the book or anything, but I can research this. But can you help me with something?
I can help in any way. As long as I'm useful, I'm happy right now.
I take the seed and tosses it a little too forcefully into his bag. He goes, we're going to have to bury her.
I know.
Let's go. I can help and before I'm...
Other plots that we probably should look at doing this right.
I figured we could ask the staff; they would know more. Where, and we can dig the hole, and in the morning, talk to Chrisellen. She'd be better at organizing this than we would.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Do you want me to speak to the staff then about that? And I can spend the night digging. That's not a problem.
No, you don't need to. I can help. I mean, I won't actually be helping.
I know,
but
yeah, I know.
But I'm sure they'll help. They'll tell us. She was one of them.
We may have to purchase a plot.
I figured we could do it on the estate. She worked here. She earned just as much earns this land, in my opinion, as the owner.
Oh, I agree with
you. The
you.
state only currently has plots for immediate family, which since he doesn't have anybody to him anymore, it would have been previous immediate family, like generation up.
Well,
I don't know. I know that's probably not customary in their culture, but she died on this land. She died protecting this house for some reason, protecting those assholes.
I don't think protecting those assholes. I think protecting her fellows.
Yeah.
Like I'm not a people person. That may surprise you. Probably doesn't. But if there's one thing I do recognize, it's what people do to protect.
Yeah. Let's go. The lady that showed me this room seemed to be to know about most of the stuff in the house. Let's go ask her. And then we do.
Yeah.
Scott.
Essentially trying to arrange for funeral stuff.
Really late, so again, that person probably is already in bed in the sleeping quarters.
Oh yeah, we're not gonna wake her.
No, we'll find someone. If someone is awake, then we'll talk to someone. Like just the idea is that if anyone is awake, still we'll
and you're asking them what questions specifically?
If there's like a place for burial, or actually screw that, I don't care about a place for burial. If there's a place that Lily liked to spend her time, like maybe she had a thing where she walked in the morning and went and looked over the lake or something. I don't care if.
We don't really know Lily. She only worked here for like a day. To
the bin. All right, let's go.
Morals recycled. We're good.
Sorry. So if there's a place to bury, there is a family plot here for family members. If a servant were to die, you would just send it to the city to be processed, and they would handle it where they just burn or bury the different people, depending on. It's funny because even though they are slaves, technically these people do have various religions, and so it's one of those things where whatever religion they would have, they would, if there was an honorific to it, they would adhere to the minimum required standard for whatever the honorific was for that faith. You don't happen to know, and nobody really happens to know what her faith was, so there wasn't anything there. If you're looking for like an interest of hers, she was young, and she was into flowers and stuff like that, so she would spend time over by the flower beds and everything, but you don't exactly want her literally pushing up daisies, so
I mean, if we dig a deep enough hole.
No, I think what we do with that, Laszlo, is we bury her in the family plots.
Fine with me. She earned the right to this land as much as they did.
I agree. And I think what we do is we also put a flower bed in.
Okay.
Maybe fill it with lilies. If they grow here. I don't know anything about gardening, but I'll be happy to talk to the gardener in the morning.
I don't know anything about botany. I don't know where the fuck lilies grow.
I mean, we should do jasmine. It's the best smelling.
What's the climate here?
Ew.
Warm. Oh, no, sorry. You're in the southern hemisphere. We actually looking over at the other map. So if you imagine you're in the southern hemisphere, so first of all, if this is closer to being like in Australia, It's going to be hot everywhere always. But because you're in Yovance, it's going to be one of the colder regions.
Okay,
Regions
like
that actually have
all
talking
winter.
about
the way up here.
a degree range we're talking about here, like
Yeah.
in Fahrenheit.
Temperate. Just say
Yeah,
temperate.
temperate climate. Exactly.
Lilies could grow here then.
Lilies grow where I am, and
Yeah.
I live in a temperate climate.
Most of the United States is a temperate climate.
Tropical, bitch. What?
I said most of the United States. You are Florida.
Give us this, dude.
oh, I
Just give
forgot.
us
We
this.
haven't-
This is all we get.
You guys have received notice yet? We actually decided to just snip the tip. You know what I'm saying? Bye.
I mean, I wonder who we'd vote for. Never mind.
The only reason why we don't get rid of Florida, the only reason why we don't, is because you have Orlando. Because we're like, but Disney World.
No, it's not. It's because half of the state's a graveyard. So, sorry, that was mean. I feel really bad saying
Are
that.
hella valuable. Hella valuable. The United States would.
All right, so again, I don't need to talk about U.S. politics. I'll just go. You know, that's all right.
Circumcise the coast.
Yeah, no, lilies could grow here if it's temperate. So I mean,
All right.
I think
So are we talking crypts or like burial mounds? Like
It's
for this type of-
a family plot, yeah. So it's
Yeah.
like one of those, like,
All right.
you've probably seen
So
them.
I'll cast my servant.
I'm sorry, I have a New England perspective. You guys might not have those down there. Like a fenced-in specific area on the plot that has like little headstones, and it's like a part of. Have you? You know what I'm talking about?
I do. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, because you live in a real part of the country. So
He's
I
not
live on
part
an
of.
island, so and I live in Canada.
Yeah.
Don't lie in Iowa.
but it's a
Our
real
weather
country.
is crazy, and our soil is also very.
Yeah, but I bet
Actually, used
Iowa
to live
also has
right next
family
door to a
plots.
graveyard. So
Like in graveyards, yes, but not
Yeah,
typically.
not on your property.
Oh, no, you don't have old family plots on like old property?
we definitely do
no.
here.
So it's actually so you probably same thing whatever will, but it's actually one of those things where even if you bought the property in the future, like let's say I bought somebody's land and it was like out of the 10 acres, but on that 10 acres there was a 2,000 square foot plot that was for old, but that all those plots are actually considered state property and not your own property, but you are responsible for a degree of maintenance of them, even though the states can also go and invest and check on them and so on and so forth. Yeah, it's a thing, and you have to you can't dig those up and get rid of them. You can't exhume, the bodies, and no, it's highly illegal. So yeah.
Oh God! I spilled all this gasoline, and the
I,
whole land is just.
It'll be investigated. Yeah.
The plots here are now they're completely handled by whatever province they're in. So that's no longer you literally just have to build a walkway into your property to go to that, and it's fenced off and stuff now. But
They're weird, but anyways, they're beautiful though. They're usually very, very, very beautiful. But go ahead.
So I cast the servant and my candle, and just help help Oscar with the digging. And well, I mean, I won't physically help him with the digging.
If the servants know what you're doing, they would assist as well. But the fact that you're doing it in the middle of the night is a little creepy.
I mean, is it the middle of the night or the end
at
of
this
the day?
point, it's
It's
probably
been-
middle of the night. Yeah.
One
It's
week
the middle
ago
of the
of the
night.
Well, Laszlo's sleeping in because he didn't sleep all night. So yeah, well,
Laszlo's holding the candle, but he's like passing out, so the candle occasionally.
the candle's like
cinches him.
fades. The candle, no, it's an arcane candle, right? So it's just like a glowing light, so it like fades and turns off and then dims back on.
Laszlo,
Yes. Oh, sorry.
too bright for a second, so he's like, ah.
Need to just have something smack you every few seconds to make sure you stay awake.
That's what the arcane servant does. He just
Oh, that's what he's there for. That's how you're helping. The arcane servant smacks
I
you back
imagine
awake.
the arcane service just like clears the ground. Like so, as you're shoveling, it's doing like the clearing because it can't do huge physical labor.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm digging a grave apparently.
So here's the big question though. Are you burying her tonight, or are you waiting until the next day?
No, we're
Next
waiting for the
morning.
morning. I'm just preparing the plot right now.
I've been saying so the next day for like 3 hours IRL.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So guess what? It's the next day now.
Hey,
I
you did it.
win. Now we start over. So
Kristalin would have drank a lot of water before bed.
She's still,
Avoiding hangovers.
she's still hungover unless she makes an appropriate drinking check.
Okay.
That'd be willpower, stamina.
It's Constitution.
Thank you for the
Oh,
rating.
is
Not stamina. It's Constitution drinking.
Oh, they actually
shot.
have a thing for drinking?
Yeah, they do, which Griselin has proficiency in.
She's a whore.
She got 5 stunt points, which are going to take his
Yeah.
degree of success, which means not only is she
5 pints.
not only is she not hungover, even the mention or smell of alcohol has no effect on her whatsoever. It's as though it was just a regular evening for her. She had
Impressive.
an excellent time. Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like, maybe I'm a little dizzy this morning, but that'll be fine.
And I would chop cucumber and mint myself and put it in a pitcher of water for the Lady Alfie.
Yeah, but if the chef did it, it would probably, you know what? She gets sloppily chopped cucumber and mint and put into a... So you get it for her. She, of course, the next day is going to make the same check. She's so good
You
at
don't
this
cut
check.
mint, do you? Don't you smack it?
You crush it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you bruise it, yeah.
Yeah.
You muddle it.
Muddle it.
Is that what it's
True,
called?
that is the
Muddling
word.
is
Thank
how you
you.
bruise it, yeah.
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 So a 13, she actually wakes up feeling, doing wrong. She appreciates the cucumber because she is still hungover. But again, it's one of those things where she's fine overall. She's not like, my mornings, nothing like that, right? She's a lady. She's etiquette. She presents herself well. So the next morning, you guys, of course, get together. You inform, I imagine, before Lady Grace gets involved. You guys inform her of the grave that you dug last night for Lily.
Laszlo's gonna sleep in, so he'll probably be the last one available
Oscar
because I missed the whole night.
Oscar is up as early as he normally is, and let's.
I have a matter to discuss with Oscar anyway before anybody else gets up.
I imagine that Oscar, when Laszlo doesn't wake up, like smacks him across the face with like a nice thick tome. And was like, he's like, the servant did it. Like the arcane.
The arcane servant. Oh, when did we come inside?
There, buddy. Have a good sleep.
So, Doxy, you get up nice and early the next day, same as you usually do, to put on your face, and you get up nice and early, same as you usually do, to go for a long run through town. And the two of you meet in the morning.
Yep. Morning.
Would you care to join me for a stroll in the garden?
Sure. I actually have something to show you out there, anyways. So.
Excellent.
Hmm.
And once I'm sure that we're good and alone, I'd be like, I need you to search for a will.
Yeah. Be honest, thought you'd already done that.
Nope.
All right.
It's been nonstop action since we've gotten here.
Yes.
Creep.
Well, I don't know. I was gone for several hours, so I thought maybe during that time, but fair enough.
Well, that is fair. No, I've had my hands quite full.
Yes.
What do you make of our guest?
I interacted with her for a grand total of 7 seconds.
You
If she
will
doesn't move around too much.
spend more time with her today. She's
How am I
a
going to-
partner of the deceased? The deceased who is very fond of me.
Yep.
Very fond of me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel a bit like an ass.
The best way for me to respond here is to say, no, you're not an ass. Don't worry. However, what I will say is this circumstance sucks.
Aye.
Something that might make it suck a little bit less. Also, I apologize. I don't know where I picked up that parlance. Regardless, and I'm gonna walk her over to the family plot where we dug that the grave for Lily. I'm just gonna motion to it and say, Laszlo and I started some work last night, and we think that the funeral might be in order. We were thinking as well, just over there, that it might be a nice spot to put a new flower bed. She was quite fond of flowers, and lilies, I think, will grow in this area. I'm not a botanist myself, but I think it should be fine. I've seen them in similar climates.
Lilies will grow beautifully here.
I think that might do nicely. This was a family plot before, but as far as Laszlo and I are concerned, every single
Starting now,
member here is
servants
family.
are family.
Yes. And I think it should be known. So, we thought that simple service, of course, but a service here with the family of the house would be appropriate.
I'll round up the stuff.
We don't
I'd like
have
you
a
to make.
casket.
We won't need one. I'm sure there will be something that will be suitable as a shroud.
Okay. I'm gonna have to have a look around the plot here just to see what we've got available to us, but I'm not sure. Maybe there's a who. I'll go speak with the groundskeeper, the man who was mowing yesterday before. Oh, it's been days. See what he knows about maintaining the plot and whether or not there's materials and such.
There's a really nice guy named Graham.
Named Graham? Good name. It's a good name.
I'd like you to make warm acquaintance with the Lady Alifi.
He looks at you kind of confused and just says, how am I going to be finding the will if I'm making warm acquaintance with her?
The day is long. I will distract her in the afternoon. We must keep her out of the office until then.
You think it'll be in the office, or will it be in his quarters?
One or the other. And his quarters are quite occupied, so.
Fair enough. Well, why don't you take some time in the morning to search the quarters?
This is a good idea.
But first things first. Laszlo will be asleep for a while. He was struggling to stay awake. He had his servant prompting him up every now and then just to keep him up, but the candle dimmed often, so I suspect that he's quite tired.
I will gently see if he'd like to attend the service.
I know he will, but just wake him softly.
Of course.
Or very harshly. It's really up to you. But
Alan just runs in and straddles, like jumps and lands on him straddled.
Riding check.
For who? Wait.
That's an arcane blast, sir. That is not a riding check.
Oh, I mean, I'm more worried. No mind. All right.
I know exactly what kind of thing you're checking there. Man, how many experiments have you been doing for that to be arcane?
Yeah, I was gonna say at least you know it's magical.
All right, I'll go. I'll grab Oscar's hands actually and say thank you for this. And
thank Laszlo just as much. He and I were very much in agreement from the moment we started discussing it.
And she'll excuse herself and go wake Laszlo.
While you do that, I'm gonna go talk to Graham and just see if there's any shrouds or even if there are.
I would search for shrouds.
Available.
I would search for a nice linen.
Yeah.
Will Graham know where to look for?
I don't know. Will Graham know where to look for that? I mean, he is the groundskeeper.
He hands it to you like in less than a second.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah.
I'm surprised that you had this on hand, but thank you.
It's from Turin.
There's a shop in town. It's a little bit stained.
Oh my fucking god! Can we not? I would find a nice linen in the house.
Oh, I don't think Doxy got the joke.
I definitely did get the joke.
Okay. No, but yeah, it would be a nice shroud or a nice linen. My apologies.
Hopefully one with a lily print on it.
I don't think they'd probably have that on hand, but
one of the girls would gladly embroider it on there.
Yeah.
Well, I would have all fucking day, so.
Yeah. Well, that's not a long.
Remember,
oh no!
Now. You're getting paid now.
Even just doing a single lily over where like the heart would sit with the shroud.
I have a good idea. I'll hook you guys up.
Oh, I know what you're doing. All right.
I do too.
That's very sweet.
That is very sweet.
Yeah. So when she wakes up, Laszlo will just be like, "I'm sorry. I couldn't figure it out. The seed, I couldn't."
Don't have to be sorry, Laszlo. It's quite mysterious. If we're meant to find what it does, we'll find what it does. And for now, the dead are dead.
I know that it doesn't react to human bodies or living ones. I don't know much more than that.
Okay.
I couldn't figure it out. It's far beyond my capabilities. It's very powerful.
Protect it.
All right. Fine. I'll go to the gravesite then.
And I'll say, help me to fetch a nice linen to shroud her in.
Oscar will, at this point, come to you and say, by the way, we were able to find this. Hand you the shroud that was given to him from the groundskeeper.
Is it nice?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doxy, it's complete shit. You have to deal with that. Get over it.
It's a shame that it's so plain, but it seems cozy. It's a shame that it's so plain. What a shame.
Are you talking about me? I'm going to put it on the headstone. Why am I going to put it on the sheet that's going to be buried?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I thought that
rain in Spain falls mainly in the plain.
Banana bread. Banana bread.
Why is my safe word not working?
So did you bring me a shroud or a headstone?
A shroud.
I'm
Yes.
so lost.
No, you
A
wrap her in
shroud,
the
I
shroud,
brought
you
shroud.
bury her, and then on the headstone, I'm going to engrave an arcane
Okay.
sigil that's of a lily.
Okay, perfect. Oscar, if you wouldn't mind.
Of course.
And I'll hand the shroud back to him.
Yeah, and I will go and I will prepare Lily's body.
And I'll go gather staff.
Okay. So when they get there, Laszlo will be standing at the headstone. We do the service. None of us know her religion or anything like that. So, I'll just say, I don't know her, but I know she enjoyed lilies. And I'll touch the headstone and it'll light up with an arcane sigil. Oh, with the arcane glyph of a lily.
And I would stand up and I would say, I was acquainted with Lily all of 10 minutes before she laid down her life to protect all of you. And I imagine that the way in which she touched me is only a fraction of the way that she touched all of you. If any of you have anything that you'd like to say, any parting words for her or comforting words for each other, please take a moment. Scott, you weren't listening, were you?
I was. I heard it. I just didn't know if the PCs were going to say anything first.
I literally don't know the girl.
The NPCs say a couple of words, amongst them, so on and so forth, kind words and everything about her, but I get nothing that really worth noting. Just sentimental stuff. Some of them knew her short periods of time, some of them knew her better than others, whatever. But they say the words.
Oscar would actually give each of them a flower as well to lay on the grave, just a fairly standard practice thing there. But then he would start that off by laying one of the flowers on the grave after the burial is complete.
I'm sure a lot of people would grab a lily or whatever and put it there, and
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, now get to work, everybody. We need to do.
Oh no.
I would 1000% tell them to take the day to mourn.
The whole day? Okay.
Yeah.
She was like
The whole
20,
I
maybe
haven't
like
had
20
breakfast
hours.
yet.
They would have the day to mourn. And then I would tell Laszlo
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
join Oscar in making warm acquaintance with the Lady Alifi while I go
What lady?
and search my quarters.
I will explain that to you.
Oh, of course. Okay. There's a lady here?
Yes.
He says that looking at, like, referring to Chris. There's a lady here?
Oh.
No.
You ruin every good thing, Scott.
So my family
Oscar-
tells me time and time again.
Oscar would pull Laszlo aside and just explain the circumstance and what he walked in on, and that Chrysalin was asking them to do, and just we're going to be polite and
Okay.
try not to be too far in over our heads, I suppose.
Her name was. Did we get her name, Scott? All that, right?
She said Alifi, Lady Alifi.
Lady Alifi.
Okay. I'll say okay. Based off what you said yesterday, I'm gonna go check out that book.
Don't think she's a family member.
Doesn't matter.
Business partner.
If she knows him, she might know past. If she knows the past and we don't, that can bite us.
What do I need to know? I'm Luthera's bodyguard.
Yes, but our goal is to get Chrysalin into the court.
Yes.
And the more she knows, the easier that'll be.
Right, the more she knows.
So if we can get this lady, maybe on our side, then maybe it'll be easier. I don't know. I'm not part of court.
Look, I'm not.
I know how to read books.
Yeah,
That's what I do.
I know how to use weapons, and I know how to hunt mages and magical creatures.
Yes.
I am so far out of my depth right now. Like,
Yeah.
this is not normal for me. I want you to know that this is not normal for me. So I don't know what we're doing. We're making warm acquaintance, which I will be honest with you, I don't even know what that means. Does that just mean being nice?
I don't know. I
That
wasn't a
mean
diplomat.
Flirting? Does that mean, like, what do we do?
You know what? I'd rather look for a will.
That's the afternoon. For the morning, we have to keep her distracted. Chrysalin's going to be looking for the will.
Okay.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
She gave the cook the day off. Are you good at cooking?
Oh, I can cook.
Well, I guess we should make them breakfast.
Sure. I have no idea what we've got. Let's find out. I'm going to go into the kitchen. And
I'm not sure how we're supposed to greet her. We have no servants. We have nothing. So we're just.
Welcome to Weekend at Bernie's.
Wait, no, we're not taking up Lily.
Hold on. Sorry. No, carefully. I wasn't thinking Lily. I was thinking Nori.
On my way in, I would stop to make sure that the Lady Alifi had anything that she needed tended to. I would invite her to go inspect her home and make sure that it was to her liking. And I would inform her that the servants have the day off and to please bear with us while we tend to her needs as best as we can.
I did notice earlier that all of you seem to be outside participating in a ceremony. I thought it'd be terribly rude of me to inquire as to what it was that you were doing. It was by the grave sites, but was today Nori's... I assumed if it was Nori, you would have told me.
Was his closest servant. He had warm feelings for her.
In the family plot?
It was what she deserved.
You can see that there's a bit of apprehension or doubt or whatever on her face with that one, because it's worn plainly as opposed to behind layers like she usually does. She says, "You may have felt the ground rumble with the number of bodies that would have been rolling in their graves. However, considering Nori was the last of his family line of any closeness that would matter, I don't think there is going to be a recompense for this action."
Do you believe in the afterlife?
It's a interesting question that you ask me. I very much do.
Well, should they be looking down? I would hope that their god tells them that this is the right thing to do.
Maybe. Maybe. Nonetheless, I will check out my estate. Thank you so much for all the kindness that you've offered while you did have the servants on hand, and I think I'm capable of fixing myself a snack if need be when I return later. Beyond that, I do have coin. I could always visit the restaurant or the like. You seem like you're rather occupied today. You have a bit of a bustle to you at the moment. Would it be best if I... Well, it shouldn't be too difficult to work line by line through the will. I mean, he wasn't exactly one for flowery words. I'm sure he kept things plain and simple.
You saw it.
Hmm?
You saw it. The will.
No, not recently.
You saw the estate paperwork that says that you have power of attorney, but not the actual will itself. So you have power of estate. Sorry, speaking in legal terms, you have the power to essentially and the responsibility to dole out the estate, but the will itself is quite a different document.
Got it.
Yeah. Because you wouldn't be able to fill that out because you didn't know what the fuck it would have been on there.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, she wouldn't say that then. She's not stupid enough to say that.
Mhm.
Only Doc is stupid enough to say that.
Doxy's pretty stupid, so.
I have a really high stupidity stat.
It's okay though. It's like 69 or something, so.
Oh my god, that should be in a game. Like instead
A
of being a
stupidity
wisdom
stat?
stat, a stupidity stat.
Yeah.
Like, and you roll on it to be like, all right, you know better to do this. Roll a stupidity to see if you actually follow your own advice.
You do realize that the problem is that doesn't sound like a very warm and welcoming game, and people might get triggered by having a high stupid you don't want to do
See, you just rolled really high.
Listen,
Anyway.
What is having
Zoomers would
negative
be-
intelligence, though?
She'll look to the lady and she'll say, it is just tedious work.
Well, again, you seem busy. I can come back tomorrow if need be.
This afternoon is fine if you prefer. Just the door is open to you, Lady Leafy.
Then I'll walk through it. Thank you. And she'll take her leave. Before she actually officially leaves, she does turn back and say, I imagine you're going to have this door fixed, I suppose, by a carpenter since the servants are out. It's not functioning. Should I bring something for you on my return? You've been so kind, so gracious of a host. I would like to return a gift, but I don't know exactly what it is you enjoy, so perhaps I should have our meals for the evening catered?
That would be lovely, Lady Leafy. You have my gratitude.
She says, of course. Good luck. And she turns and leaves.
Oscar pokes his head out. Do I need to fix a door?
Something temporary.
He's like, yes! Something I can do!
This is manual labor. Oh my goodness. What a delight.
It's like when you're part of the wedding party, right?
Yeah.
You're part of the wedding party and you show it's the wedding day and they're like, okay, now everybody's responsibility today is to set up the tables, and you're like, can I do anything else?
Okay. Well, I'm gonna figure out a temporary door situation for us then.
Yeah, you're fine. You can just roll a carpentry check. I
Yeah,
imagine
great.
there's find the appropriate skill.
I'll
for it
find
over
an
no.
appropriate skill. I'll
What are
let you know.
you doing, Laszlo?
Research check, hopefully, to search for this will. Since
What are you
it's a
searching for?
systematic. I'm gonna start in his bedroom. I would assume that's where he would keep it. Actually,
You could
This
assist me
is
in there.
not
Yeah.
research.
Excuse me.
Searching.
Excuse me.
This is searching.
Searching, making a systematic investigation
Yep.
using records.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
fine, whatever.
Yep.
So
Searching.
just so you know,
gotta
dexterity
find the
crafting
records.
is probably to make a door. Do you think dexterity crafting is appropriate for making a door?
Sounds sexy.
All right. It's a mediocre door.
Do you want to luck that?
No, look, it's fine to be a mediocre door. This is a
Priscilla
temporary solution.
Wouldn't want to put anything fancy down anyway because she would want whoever she appoints to this manor to be able to decide.
It has 3 doorknobs.
No. It has one doorknob, and that's the problem. There's no doorknob on the other side presently.
Oh, nice.
I'll get there.
All right.
Only open
So,
until
do you want
5.
to do it together?
We know
Is
what
that
really,
you're saying,
what
Doxy?
really happened with your 10. You are going to succeed. However, the problem is when you originally cut the door, put the panes on there, do all that stuff, so on and so forth. You did all that without hanging it first, and you realize I can't cut. I'm gonna have to plane for the rest of the day to get this to fit. And have you ever planed the door before?
Yeah. My dad's a locksmith.
Oh, okay. So you know all about planing.
I know all about door. I have done
Old
this
houses?
job. I have done this job many times before, and let me tell you, first time I built a door with my dad to put in for a location. Guess what I fucked up? Didn't hang it first. Had to plane the door.
Yep. If it's a new house, it's not so
Painting
bad.
is so satisfying though.
No. If it's a new
Not
house,
after
it's
hour
not so
3.
bad. Yeah, if it's an old house, it's like every door is, you have to get like these weird curves and shit inside there, but you want to do it in a way that doesn't really look like you got this weird curves and shit in there.
Can I make another crafting check to see how long?
No,
that takes me to
no,
plane it,
no.
please.
No, you
Rather than it taking my whole day.
Oh,
I
sure.
try to-
Sure. How about this? This is fair.
Sure.
Why don't you roll 3d6 to see how many hours it takes you?
All right, sure.
I mean, you
Sure.
could make it a skill check where it's using the stunt die to see how many times.
I mean, I
How many
did get
hours.
3 stunt die there in terms of
If you succeeded.
I did succeed in building the door, just not well. Well, let's roll 3d6. Oh, now I roll high. Good, 9 hours. That's actually fine. That's actually reasonable because I started first thing in the morning.
It's
So
about
just a
average.
work day.
Yeah.
That's a work day. That's fine.
Well,
I'm
it
actually
wasn't- It was
completely-
after the funeral, so you would
Yeah.
imagine you started probably around 10 in the morning.
Yeah.
Like, I can
I think
build a
that's
door.
fine.
It's-
No,
it's-
we do early funerals in this house.
It's 7
Okay,
p.m.
sunrise.
Hey, I'm finished at 7 p.m. That's fine. That
Carry
is
him
a
at the
fine
bugle,
work day.
boys.
You literally walk in with like just tired and whatnot. You walk in and sit down to a lobster dinner. Like,
Okay. All right.
but anyway, so Doxy and Laszlo, roll me your search check because you're going to his bedroom and looking for all the things.
Do
Alright,
I
do you wanna-
offer any kind of advantage?
Hold
to
on.
him?
Are you searching elsewhere?
I'm just helping him search the room.
So you guys are going to be tandem searching rooms together as opposed to splitting up to
Yeah.
So effective, not efficient.
I mean,
Correct.
Yes.
yeah. I mean, I would assume it's 1 or 2 rooms, to be honest. It's probably his bedroom or the office.
Or he has a
Maybe.
safe room. Who knows? But that's something that we should have asked the servants before we left them off for the day.
No, they're partying. They're on Runchbringer. They're gone. They're just all right, so do we do individual checks? How do you want to do this, Scott? I don't have a proficiency.
Yeah,
Doxy.
I don't remember.
Me
How
either.
does what is it called?
Advantage.
Aiding in other work in this when it comes to skill checks, Josh, do you remember?
I don't know, but I can look it up real quick. Aiding. Nope, next.
By the way, this is for Lightning Dragon. He asked to say to come to Daddy's dungeon.
Easy for
Welcome.
level. Okay, what it does is it makes it so that I automatically win. That's what it says.
Nope. I imagine she just gives you a +1.
I imagine it's either a +1 or +2. Like it works as a focus or something.
If you don't find an answer, we'll just take the 2 for now, and we can have you roll.
Okay. I don't find it right now. Perception.
Hold on. Wait a second, Will. I disagree with you on that one because part of the kink is holy fuck. Part of the kink is that you have to avoid that will, that word. So was that without the +2?
Yeah.
Hold on.
That's a 21.
So you rolled a 21.
That +2 is my normal mod for
And you have
perception.
six stunt for searching the bedroom.
Yep.
Can I flirt? And then advantageous positioning, of course. I guess resources at hand and search
No, it's okay.
or degrees of success.
Hey, buddy, you fail
Oh, okay.
because
So
it's not in his bedroom.
It's not there.
Oh, well, I didn't
But
fail.
we
I
can be
succeeded in
reasonably
not
sure.
finding it.
Yeah, we can be reasonably sure that it's not in there.
So
which
I
is
use
still a win.
resources at hand for
Why not just
searching and then go to the office.
Efficient search, my dude.
Yes.
Efficient
Fuck
search.
yes.
Just efficient search over and over again.
And I'm going to help him search the office also.
No, hold on. Efficient search I will accept to make this faster. But other than that, yeah. Yeah, speedy search and efficient search. That's what you're able to do.
All right, fine. I could do that, and then fine.
So it actually didn't take long for you guys to like, it's not here. You know what I mean? And then kind of like move away. So
This next one.
Did we find anything of import?
it was my apology. It's a really good question because you did search through his goddamn room like crazy. So you do still see in the bed itself, the mattress itself does still have the stain of blood underneath the sheets and the blankets.
Glad
and
you
everything.
clarified what stain.
Of blood underneath the mattress and sheets and everything from where he was found dead. Obviously, the linens and what might have been changed, but the mattress itself is of course still stained. So you were able to find that there. Beyond that, anything of no. Oh, you know what you'd be able to find inside of his room, just because he is that kind of person. You would actually find a little secret catch that would actually have valuables inside of it.
Okay. No will though. No will in his little cache.
No will in his little cache.
No.
Okay.
So, but would be like gold pieces and gems and the like.
Make
Well,
sure you
we
take
will
those
take
in
the
case you need to
gold.
catalog them as part of the will.
We will take the gold. We will leave the gems for now.
Yeah, why don't we leave the gem? We don't really need it anymore.
That, I mean, I'm a big fan of jewels, so.
I love you, Josh.
Josh is just a simp. What do you expect?
He is not a simp. He is my buddy.
Step on me, please. Hey, I have no
Just
shame,
running,
guys.
Josh. It's running.
That's probably the best comeback you could have. So, or lean in. Anyways, you guys head to the office to search.
All right, damn it. Do you have a better perception than me? Because I only have a 2.
I also only have a 2.
All right. Oh, suck it.
It's a 19 this time with
I
5
would-
stun points.
I would, but even with that perception, I can't find it, Josh.
Sound like my wife.
The will
Efficient
or
search.
his dick? The will or his dick? This is very
Efficient
important.
search. Oh, my apologies.
Either way.
His dick. So when you go in there and you're searching like moving the books and opening the drawers and looking for other little catches and whatnot, it's like going on for a while before finally you just kind of like, what's her name? Chris Ellen's like, I don't know where it could possibly be. And she's like, let me get that ladder over there, and starts checking the top shelf. And he looks up, not because he's creeping up her skirt or anything, but because he's like,
I am.
I could never reach that top shelf even with a ladder. And so it's like frustrated, goes over to the desk to do one of those. I know we both already searched the desk like 8 times, but let's search the desk again, and then sits at it. And he's like, ugh. But instead there's still that book sitting open on the desk. And so he just grabs it and just kind of like starts thumbing through it. And he spends a lot of time with books, like a lot of time with books. And he realizes the cover, the back cover, the inner part of it, it's a bit thicker than it usually is for this style of book. And so he's looking at it and checks. It does in fact open up. And there
It's
it
empty.
is.
Oh God, I thought what's her face took it because she pulled that book.
So scared.
Oh my God. All right.
An empty spot that shows an impression that a folded piece of paper was there at one point.
Nuh-uh.
Absolutely, yes. 100%.
Your wording, you're a jackass. All right.
Inconsistent.
Oh, I'll look to Chrysalin and I think it was right here. I'm pretty confident on that.
Is there any way that you can be certain and not just confident?
No. I mean,
I
I
don't
can't.
know the extent of your powers, Laszlo. You blow my mind all the time, but that is terrible news.
Yes. Who found this book? I didn't pull it.
She cocks an eyebrow at you.
Oh. Okay.
I think we'll need to send Oscar to make a less than warm acquaintance with the lady.
Why would she take it?
Because she knew I was lying. I don't know how. I was brilliant.
Maybe she took it before she even met you. She was in here, right? She pulled this book. Did she pull it before or after you got here?
There's one more thing that I could do, which is to say that the last time that I was here, he showed me that compartment. And how would I ever know about that compartment without him having showed me?
Then why didn't...
Otherwise, there are bloodier means that we must... I don't want to. I rather like the Lady Alifi.
Okay. I trust your judgment. I think you say she's good with words. Maybe this is a game. Maybe this is part of the court. Maybe she was testing you.
What do you mean?
Well, she was the one who pulled this book. And she gave it to you, right?
Aye.
She was seeing if you would react. If you knew where the will was. So instead of playing her game, I closed the book. Why don't we play a different game? Why don't you tell her that you don't know why he picked you? You don't know where it is, and that's what's taking so long. Don't try to lie to her more. Tell the truth.
It's still a lie, Laszlo.
Yes, I know. I mean, in the scheme, it's the truth. The truth is you don't know why you were picked. You barely knew the guy. You don't know where he has this will. That's why we're searching it. That's one of the reasons we sent the staff away, so they wouldn't notice. It was all a big scam.
I think I'd like Oscar to weigh in on this. I don't think that that's the correct course.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just planing a door in the backyard. Don't mind me. Actually, I'd probably be doing it in the front yard.
And I will not discount your ideas without the three of us discussing it.
No, it's fine. I'm just saying, instead of going deeper down the lie, that one lie. Let's fess up. Let's start a new train path. Now that we have more information. She doesn't know we found this. She knows that you didn't have it before.
I think. Let's go get Oscar. Could you fetch him and bring him inside? We shouldn't have this discussion outside.
Okay. Get
Also,
down my little legs.
we were not very careful. Could she be listening in right now?
I doubt that. Honestly, I doubt that. How much time was she alone in here for?
Not long.
It takes a little bit. It's not something that you can just, unless you're a trained arcanist.
Better safe than sorry.
Okay. Can I do a search of the room before I leave it?
I mean, technically speaking, you could have rolled a second perception check as and another thing, or whatever the hell it's called. That makes you wonder.
All right. This doesn't fall in with illusion resistance or anything like that?
Nope.
15.
I mean, it's one of those things where another efficient search of the room, you can see that it is pretty specific what book that was pulled down, so on and so forth. But looking at the room, you don't see anything else of great significance here beyond those 7 books that you pulled beforehand. And clearly this one right here are the books of interest.
We're checking to see if she bugged the room.
Yeah, if there's a sensor.
Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, there was something else, but never mind. Put that aside anyways. So you were, if there's any form of sensor, no, you don't notice anything. And are you talking about like a magical sensor? Sorry.
Yeah.
That's an intelligence check.
Oh, this. Okay.
So what did that perception get him that you didn't didn't say?
16.
Are you comfortable with the 16 before I go back to the other thing?
Yes, I'm comfortable with 16.
Okay. You don't notice any sense like or anything like that. And what did you actually roll? Was it a 19 total? You would have actually noticed that inside this place here, he actually has you can actually find like a wizard's tome inside here. It's of course traditional Arcane Congress approved casting kind of wizard's tome that's here. And opening up and looking through it, because you had time earlier when Chris was going through other things, you can roll me a arcane lore check with a -3 because you would have flipped through it very quickly.
All right, so before you tell me the results, I can re-roll this. I'm not gonna.
Does that include the -3?
That does not. So it's 15.
Are you comfortable with your 15?
And
May as well luck it. This is important.
I can also re-roll it. But
Well, here's the thing.
all right, whatever. So there, it's 18.
18.
Beautiful. You're able to very quickly ascertain that this book is an old book. The name written on it would suggest, because it still has the same last name, that it must have been like a grandfather or a great-grandfather or something like that, or maybe it's a second cousin or some shit like that. But it's an old book. Dusts and everything on it would suggest that it hasn't been opened in a long time. It creaks and everything, despite being worn. That's how long it's been sitting there. So either way, you do find an old wizard's book, just something that has value is the only thing I'm pointing out, because you can actually sell those. They have a lot of value. But otherwise, nothing that alludes to what it is we were hoping to do.
Okay. I'll point that out to Crystalline.
I mean, it's one of those things where you look over the spells and again, you flip through it quickly. You know these spells. If you really wanted to, you can cast from them. However,
I won't.
Swore life away from that.
I'll put it on the desk and I'll explain to her what it is and how valuable it really is to any type of a begrudging wizard.
And this would have been before you found the will, is when you would have.
Yeah, or the lack of will. All right, and then I will hop down off the human-sized chair. There's no point in me keeping it. There's no point in keeping it.
Destroy it, sell it, do what you will.
Sell it. We could sell it.
In your bag.
And you have 8 books.
I go down the stairs. I'll get Oscar, like, geez, Oscar, put a shirt on.
What? What are we doing?
We need to talk.
Do we need a door still?
We need to talk in the office.
Should I bring the door?
No, the office
All right.
has a door.
All right. All right. I'm gonna put the stuff because you said there was kind of like a front porch area. Basically, I'm gonna move all of the stuff to the front porch area first, and then follow him in, just to keep it out of. I don't know. Just I don't know. I like to put things away before I leave them. I don't know. Sorry, I wasn't raised in a barn. Anyways, I'm gonna come inside.
Oh. We're waiting.
Hello? Am I in trouble?
No, of course not. Unless
Okay.
you killed somebody without
recently.
consulting me. All right.
I pushed the book forward. I pushed the book forward with the empty slot.
I see you found the will.
The Lady Leafy.
She pulled this book.
Is to confront her and ask her why she stole the will. Demand she give it to me. And if she discovered anything by now, I'll simply point out that I knew where it was. Why would I know where it was if he didn't show me? I have
Planning on
legal
bringing the guards to
documentation
this
that she
confrontation?
inspected herself. Absolutely not.
Why not?
In case she found something that is very damning in the will.
What would be damning in the will? The will doesn't have any executive statements in it. It's a will. It's a list of who gets what. If anything, it's damning that she stole it because that puts it in her possession and she could have altered it. When you're supposed to be the executive of the estate. If anything, the guards should be pissed about that. Because by all legal rights, you're supposed to have control over this. Why am I the only one who knows anything about legal documentation?
Do you know how long we live? I mean, we have plenty of time to give our stuff away.
I've only been left things. I've never been left in charge of things.
Okay, fair enough. That is reasonable. I've unfortunately had the displeasure once or twice. Realistically, you know, she has a document that details what his last will and testament was. In other words, what he wants for his estate, what he wants for the items within his estate, and where they would go, to whom they would go, and in all likelihood, she's probably looking for information in that, or she's looking to alter it and gain an upper hand. Either way, it's shady that she took it.
If she were to make changes to it, Laszlo, would you be able to determine what they were? And reverse
I doubt it. I barely knew how to do this. You had to school me. It took days of you showing me what the proper forms are and practice and trial and error just to get that one document. I doubt I could, if someone knew anything else, I could catch a forgery.
All right.
Then we move on her now.
Look, I'm just saying, bring a guard. Because worst case scenario, we say, it appears that the will was stolen from the book that Lady Greris pulled. Now, here's the question. Were you there when she pulled the book?
When she pulled the book, yes. When she pulled the will, no.
Were the guards there when she pulled the book?
A servant was.
That servant is an eyewitness.
Wait a minute. Is this lady, is she of use to us, Griselda?
Very cunning and compassionate, it seems.
What do we know about her?
I would relay all the information that she gave me. Like, I would paraphrase it Chrysallan style. She's had a hard life.
Yeah.
At least lived. And
Do
I
you
feel like
think
she
you-
could be on our side. I think that she just wants to gain a lot.
Look, my take on this right now is that we are in a circumstance that is completely surrounded entirely by lies on all sides.
We could run.
We could
That
just
doesn't help
leave.
us. That doesn't help us. Look, here's my idea. And I know that it's out there, and do what the Arcane Congress would do in this situation. Go talk to her. Show her the book. Keep an eye on her. If you can catch that she's lies to you, then we don't trust her. But if she comes clean about it, we use her and twist her to be an ally. We don't want to stay here. The longer we're here, the more likely we're going to be found out. All we need from this place is, Chris Ellen, is for you to get some renown to get in the courts. That's
We
it.
tell her the truth, that I was never put in charge, that I didn't know the man.
No, just tell her that you barely knew him. You gave him mind-blowing service. You changed his life. And he wrote you in, and you never didn't know him that well. That's it. Or you tell her the truth. I don't care how you do it. If we can tell she's telling the truth, if we could turn her to be an ally, that's a benefit to us. If we can't, then we just leave.
Where's she from? Again, you mentioned the
Idea? Some
Idea.
idea?
Idir.
Yes.
It's in the
She was
middle of
exiled.
Paradel. It's in the middle of Paradel.
She was exiled.
I'm
Her husband killed.
That's not my point. My point is that she has experience with Paradel then. She would have to. She would know them. She would know about them. She would know things about them. Question for you. Did she recognize me in any way, shape, or form?
She recognized your form.
Did she recognize that I'm a Maltese?
She did ask.
That's not illegal here.
No.
It doesn't matter.
No. That's not my point. My point is, she's familiar. She's well-traveled. She knows the nations. She knows what's happening between the nations, no doubt. I don't see any harm in telling her the truth about who we
Plus,
are and what we're doing.
She has nothing to gain by screwing us over. Right now, every guard in that town believes that paper that we made. If she shows up with this will, she doesn't magically just get everything. But as executor, you could say the will gives her everything.
Let's go speak to her. No guards.
Okay.
Remind me never to come to court again. This is awful.
Oh, there's
I hate
going
all
to
of
be
this.
A lot of court.
Yes, I know. I'm just,
True.
let me work on doors. Let me just be there with a shield. I hate all of this. I really do. Look,
All
I'm
right.
just saying, let's be honest.
All right. Let's
Well,
do
she's
it.
coming here. Just wait.
Well, we
Is
must.
she?
Time is not on our side. If
Okay,
she's
that's
not.
fair. That's fair.
But she is in fact coming back, and she is said she's bringing catered food. It's up to you if you just want to wait for her to show up, because she said the rest of our meals for the day, so she would be coming back for, like you said, in the afternoon with lunch. Or you can go and try to find where she is. You know what time she's coming here about, versus trying to find out where she is elsewhere.
Well,
It's up
look.
to you for your.
Why don't we give her the chance to come in for the first meeting point that she wants to try and come in for, right? That she said she was going to come for. And if she doesn't, then we go and find her. Also, by the way, I need to tell you about the docks.
What about them?
Well, the east dock is definitely where the Paradel, the Perrin, come in. I didn't go to the west dock because I didn't have time. But the east dock is definitely where that particular ship comes in. It's a rotating crew. They do shipping and cargo, but it's mostly for fish. And other than that, it's very light. The load is limited. That's definitely the location we're looking for in terms of if we're going to expect more of them to come in. Now, that being said, I do need to go check out the western dock at some point. But
Deal
that can
with
wait.
the lady, Alifi.
Yes.
And resume
Oh, agreed.
our duties.
I just realized I didn't tell you about that and needed to. So.
Gratitude.
Yeah. So the door, it looks really good.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, I need to plane it a little bit. I
3 doorknobs though. That's an odd choice.
So here's the thing. That's actually the inner. It's a what they call a peephole. You can actually open it. It's not actually a doorknob. You see, it's a small hatch.
Are you waiting for her to come here? Or are you going to her?
Yeah, we're waiting.
We're waiting. I'm gonna finish working on the door. But...
What are you? How are you waiting? Like, what is the arrangement to look natural?
I am out front. By the way, I didn't actually put a shirt on after Laszlo told me to put it on. So I'm just still like a little bit sweat covered, planing a door, standing out front. That's my plan to look natural. It's actually doing the work that I need to do to get this door working.
So listen, she shows up a few hours after that, like about 2.5, because you started searching already. Yeah, like about 2.5 hours after that, she shows up. And she has 2 people coming up behind her. But the 2 people with her, when they get close enough that you can notice, aren't guards. They're actually 2 people that are dressed like they probably work at a local restaurant. Like they're literally wearing like a chef uniform sort of a thing.
Kill them.
They are carrying multiple parcels with them as they're coming up. When she comes through and she walks past Oscar as he's working on the door, she will... say to Oscar, she stops and is like, I do have to say, you are doing fabulous work there.
Oh, thank you. Oscar, he is just working on the door, and ignoring.
So you just work on the door. You don't go in yet. You don't go in yet.
You work on the door. You have to ease into things and really, make sure that you plane smoothly. And it's very important. A rhythm is incredibly important here.
Moving on. So you do, as she swings by to check on and everything, because you've never actually introduced yourself to her. Beyond last night, my apologies. You did last night very briefly. Yeah. You can actually smell the food. It actually smells really good. You did a long day's work, and it's one of those things where you're working, you're like, I really hope that's not poisoned. And
yep. That is the exact thought, actually. Yeah.
She says, I certainly hope that you're willing to put the tools down for at least a little while so you can come and enjoy a meal with us, or would you rather me have them serve you plates out here?
Oh no, that's fine. I'll definitely come in and join for a meal.
You have a few minutes. Don't feel like you need to rush. They still have to arrange things appropriately in the kitchen and the like.
Wonderful. And he'll just keep planing the door and just, doing his job right now.
She'll go in and she'll make a funny as she pushes the door open. I'm not sure where Chrysalin is, but she does make you do hear a bit of a, honey, I'm home. Kind of like a jokingly,
Yep. I'm in the bath.
Like hollering down the stairs. And so she's like, she'll, if Laszlo or anybody happens to be nearby, whatever, she informs them to go start setting things up. She'll actually make her way upstairs. And after she goes upstairs, she can hear her stop at the top of the stairs. She says, which bath would that be? And, the master or whatever.
Yeah.
She makes her way. She doesn't go into the room that you're in. She says, food is downstairs and they have to finish doing the preparations. We can't very well eat it cold, could we? It'll probably be ready in a little under an hour's time. Is that enough for you to finish with your soaking?
Quite suitable. I'll be down presently.
She says, the gentleman is doing a fantastic job on the door outside. And
Isn't he?
And she walks
Quite
away.
good with his hands, it seems. And she'll kind of giggle about it.
Tanis, when I looked, it didn't say that. You might want to check again, because when I saw it said much higher than that. Because when you said that, I checked at Sorry, just answering something in chat. I see 7132.
He can also do exclamation point daddies.
Oh yeah. Oh, did I correctly set that up? Hold on, give me 1 second. I'm so sorry, guys. Exclamation point daddy should show you. Exclamation point daddy should show you there, Tanis. Sorry. Moving on. Doxy, yeah, so she we could just go back downstairs after you make your comments or whatever. You finish getting yourself ready. And what about Laszlo?
Laszlo is just keeping an eye on her, just like sitting in the room, looking like he's reading, but he's not. He's just paying attention to what she's doing. That's it.
Okay. And so she is downstairs, and eventually people join one at a time. If Chris Ellen comes in, she just has pleasant conversation with Chris Ellen. If Oscar comes in, she just will have, she's barely had any before, but beginnings of pleasant conversation with Oscar. When Laszlo comes in, she hasn't met him yet, so of course that's a pull to camera moment. So I don't know if he'd show up last or what have you. I don't know what the approach here is, but she would definitely have things set up to be served in the dining room.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So things would be set to be served in the dining room. So when Laszlo finally joins, everybody, not quite sitting yet, but when
Laszlo would be with her the entire time. I was watching her, right?
Oh, okay. So when you more or less when she first came downstairs from the bath,
yeah,
she would bump into you, be like, "Oh, I don't believe we've met before."
Hello, I'm Laszlo. How are you?
Oh, he says Laszlo.
Oh no, I would say Daffodil or whatever it is. Davidin. That's right. We're using fake names. Sorry, I forgot. He's smarter than me. I would say, hello, I'm Daffodin.
If the whole cast wants to answer Tanis's question in chat, you can do that via text if you'd like. But yeah, it's she says, I'm doing quite well, thank you very much. And honestly, I'm a bit hungry. Meal won't be ready for a short period of time, but you know, they're working on it.
It smells great. Would you like to have conversation, or if not, we could just grab a book.
My apologies. I forgot for a moment that the servants here were put off for the day. You must not be one of them. What's her name there? Luthira had mentioned she had two companions. I believe Constance was one of them. You must be the other?
Credence and myself.
So close.
Davidin, yes.
Constance is a lady name.
It is. Yep.
She says, then, what do you do with Luthira? What do the three of you do in general?
I do what she asks. She's a lady of the court. I am not. I am a person that I do better with books, research, and learning of different things. I'm very interested and to know more about Idir.
Idir.
Idir. I'm sorry, I've never been that far east.
Are you Congress?
In a former life.
Oh. I've, in fact, only met members of the Arcane Congress. Could probably count it on one hand. They don't frequent Idir very often. They've never really had a reason to. There's not much magic there until recently. You had questions about it. What questions do you think I could have answered? And she'll actually gesture towards a comfortable sitting space.
What do you mean till recently? As things changed, I've always heard rumors about Idir being unrulable. That's why the Paradel don't interfere with it, but I don't know anything else about it.
To keep things short, that has changed. There is a small nation that is starting to grow there that I believe has the minds to unify Idir, which they're going to have to do if they ever intend to expand any beyond that. I imagine Paradel is not going to be very happy with effectively a cyst growing in their ass.
I'm surprised Paradell hasn't stepped in already. They're pretty aggressive.
They can be, but I don't think they've really turned an eye that way in a long while. Perhaps they have their hands occupied. Or perhaps they're just ignorant.
If you don't think Paradell's going to go in there, why would you think the Arcane Congress? Arcane Congress doesn't really care about kingdoms.
My apologies. I think that Paradell will go there once they're aware that there is a place worth going or taking. The Arcane Congress, they've visited Hardgwen before. That's the largest settlement in Adir. They've visited them before, check in on things, make sure that there has been a degree of understanding for magics, but honestly, the Congress's guidelines are pretty easy to follow, and nobody was capable of not following them anyways.
Okay. What do you think about Adir taking over? Paradell taking over Adir. Do you think Paradell would rule it justly?
I don't have too much of a strong opinion this way or that with Paradell. I have very, very limited interactions with them. I never lived there, and I have a few friends that happen to live there, but no one particularly political. They do them, we did us. I can tell you that their, what do they call it? Inclame that they do? That wouldn't go over very well with Idirians. They're fiercely independent.
I was always saw the Inclame as a form of slavery. What do you see it as?
Indentured servitude. There's a difference. You spend much time in Yovance, you'll see there is a difference. Though here it's much slimmer than I imagine in other places. Indentured servitude, not slavery. But nonetheless, is it a good thing? I would argue not good for the individual that's stuck doing it. They do get offered what some situations some people might consider a better life. Not for Adirians, though. It would certainly not be a better life for them.
Okay. I don't know much about this lands. I'm Chryselin. Damn it, her name is not Chryselin. Luthira.
She'll actually chime in and interrupt at that point. For somebody that keeps claiming ignorance, you have rather pointed questions.
Because I'm interested in knowing your views. It helps to see perspective from other people.
You'd rather know the views before the facts?
Well, I can learn the facts from anywhere. I can only learn your view from you. I do not wish to waste your time.
You can see that she appreciates the retort.
Like I said, books. I tend to favor them. Luthira drags me around wherever she needs, whatever she needs. I'm here for her.
I've never heard of people of the jewels having, I suppose, such capable lackeys with them so consistently. But I'll be honest with you, my interaction with jewels is rather limited. They don't really come to Adir.
As is mine. I'm not doing it for the jewels. I'm doing it for Chryselin, the individual. Luthira! Sorry, I'm sorry. It's in there. It's in there already. Okay, Luthira. I do it for Luthira, the individual, not her position.
I understand. Perhaps a previously satisfied customer? She says, you can tell that it's meant to be a joke because of the whole situation you guys are currently finding yourself. Yeah.
I'll smile. The overly large gnome smile and says, maybe one day.
She'll actually chuckle with that one. So, previous life.
Yes, I don't mean to offend you, but I will not speak with you about that.
So, you wanted to inquire as to my perspective on many things, and I can't inquire into any about yours?
Oh, you can. Just like I would respect you if you said no. I'm asking for the same.
My apologies. I thought you were saying no to any conversation. You're saying no to that, specifically that conversation. Then let me ask this instead. I have traveled west of Adir. Obviously, I'm here and I'm familiar with this city. But my stretch to the west is not much further than this. Two escapades into Ascaria, but never as far as Eustace. What is it like? And then it's just kind of like opens up into tell me.
He'll smirk and he'll talk about his hometown and the culture. Not so much about anything associated with the Arcane Congress, but childhood and how people act and that kind of stuff.
And so you gotta get into it. Eventually, Oscar comes in, wiping his brow and maybe putting a shirt on, and Doxy comes downstairs.
Putting a shirt on.
Doxy comes downstairs looking elegant AF, and you guys can sit down to a meal that gets served. Now, it's important to note that there are multiple rounds to this food. There are multiple servings. Courses. Thank you. So they would
a Constitution eating check.
No, you'll be fine. All right. It's called potato, by the way. You
there it is. Right there, Constitution potato. I see. Yep.
So the servants will not the servants. These people here will be coming. Caterers. Thank you. Will be coming in and out. So I don't know if you're waiting to have the conversation here or if you allow pleasantries to transpire at the table. Because she'll definitely have RP.
Pleasantries alone until it's just the four of us left.
Okay, so one of the things that she would ask shortly after you kind of like the initial pleasantries I put out of the way, she would ask like one of those as she's reaching over to grab something to put it on her plate that happens at whatever it is. She would look at Oscar and she would say, "So, Credence." Yes, I got it right. Credence. She'll say, "Credence, how many years did you serve?"
He clearly is pausing and thinking and looking up. 21.
You are rather young. Are you still technically active?
Never stop.
She nods, understanding. It's like a genuine understanding. Pride to one's homelands, I understand, of course.
It's vacation time right now, but technically still a serviceman through and through.
Did you sign on for active? You signed on for active. What's what I'm looking for? Like combat duty, or do you have a more menial job?
No, I was combat for a time, and then protection for a time, and then combat again for a time, and then I'm on vacation now, and we'll see what I get assigned to when I'm back.
Of course, I understand. Where were you stationed, if you don't mind my inquiring?
All over, wherever they needed me, but I time on the north, a little bit of a bore, but I got out of that as soon as I could. A little bit on the east, a little bit, wherever I could put to use. Occasionally, doing travel as well.
Traveling, you mean outside of the borders? I imagine if you're referring to things pertaining to tasks that your nation was doing, I'm not going to inquire any further.
I appreciate that.
And so she took that as a yes, that isn't what I'm referring to, so she does leave it alone. She goes, I actually don't know very many Maltese myself, though I have encountered some. I was actually interested if you knew perhaps an old friend of mine. Does the name Rayrin Corvain ring any bells to you?
Here's a question for you, Scott. Would I have ever met or interacted with Rayrin, given that we were in two different
roll
streams?
A history check, like was it intelligence, not military history or whatever it is?
I don't have military lore, so it would just be straight intelligence. That's a 14.
Are you comfortable with your 14?
I mean, this is a question of whether or not I know Neil. I'm kind of comfortable with a 14. We'll see.
So actually, degree of success sitting there in that one, it's one of those things where actually you do know the name Corvain because they are not it's actually a family name worth noting. It actually is a family name of people that have served and served well their country, not necessarily militarily, but certainly some of them have for a long while. And so, of course, the name Rayrin Corvain, you're like, you actually do know of him. He didn't have a particularly high rank. Last you remember, he was hold on, it's the second level there.
Of which stream? He
The
was a Gish, right?
Gish, correct, but specifically, it's
Meister or no?
No. That's
because it's Magister and Savant, and beneath that, it's the boom,
Not-
boom, boom.
My brain is
Magister, Magi. Thank you, Vance Axel.
Thank you.
Magi. Oh my God.
Would I have heard of his name in the capital or no?
No. So you would actually know that he was a you would know, and the reason why I know this, you know the name, of course, as I already said, but you know that he was a Magi Gish. And the reason why you know that name specifically and that he was that rank was because he was a deserter. And so that came across under reports that certain people would be able to look at.
Well, I mean, he would be one of the people that if, for instance, he turned on Amulta, I would have to probably go and hunt him down.
You would be a person that would have to, exactly. So he was he was a deserter off the east wall, off the ice wall.
So with that, he wouldn't react necessarily to it. Just kind of pause and think about the name, and he would pull the Corvain name more than anything, and he would say, "Family of soldiers. Rayron was a Gish, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't know him personally, but." I think he was stationed in the east when I was just coming in.
I've had an opportunity to get very familiar with him. It's actually how I was able to identify your accent so easily when we met last night.
Well, that's interesting. May I ask, what's he been up to these days? We obviously don't know each other, but just in terms of, it's always interesting to see what the Amaltis do when they leave Amulta.
I would say from rags to riches, but the way you describe his family says that he doesn't exactly come from a low-born background.
Well, well-respected family is what I would say. I don't actually know whether or not they're wealthy, but within the military, serving well is a wealth in and of itself. There's a lot of respect that comes with that, and a lot of people who cherish that and honor that. So, certainly not rags.
Well, him and companions of his recently established their own city-state in Adir. It was in fact them that, and she turns to Chryselin, held me for some time. So I guess you could say that I was held captive by a Rayrin Corvain for a period of time, and his companions. That is who held the keys to my cell.
Well, that is quite the acquaintance to make.
How did they treat you?
Depends on who you're referring to.
How did Rayrin treat you?
Fair enough. Not very kind at first, but eventually very fair. I could say budding friendship, but I think it'd be overstepping boundaries of comfort for anyone involved in that situation. We were at least a degree of respect for one another, and mostly because I was providing them aid for the benefit of my children, of course.
I didn't help you find them.
Sorry.
Well, two of them were well out of their reach, unless they went searching far and wide for it. One of them, remember how I said he was the captain of the guard for Hodgwen? It was Rayrin and his companion's nation that was at war with Hodgwen. Needless to say, they clashed steel with my son.
Well, if they clashed steel directly, then I am sorry for your loss.
I will tell you that my son was not defeated in such a manner, though he was inevitably captured, and then, similar to myself, exiled.
Well,
That's a far exile.
My apologies.
Idea to here. It's quite the distance.
First and foremost, my son was not exiled with me. He was exiled elsewhere. As to where it is that he went, I couldn't know. And as to how it is that I got here, there were magics that maybe the Congress would be interested in involved, but nonetheless, I'm here now.
You know, conversation has gone on long enough that I fear it's rude that I don't thank you for the beautiful meal.
Oh, please, I didn't prepare it myself. It was just coins thrown into the right hands. I can certainly introduce you directly to the proprietor and chef of the establishment. He is a fine man.
I don't plan on being here much longer, but I might need use of his service.
Absolutely.
Are we alone now?
You actually, you can imagine that at some point in time during the finishing of this conversation, because it was kind of the finishing of the meal, they did go, anything else? And they left.
Hoping, actually, to put you into this household, perhaps.
Are you?
Once more with feeling.
It was what my companions here and I discussed. It's what we think is the right move.
Once more with
The
feeling.
moral move.
What brought you to this conclusion?
Having spent time with you. Having asked
Once
you
more
questions.
with feeling.
The questions that you asked me. Information that you began to disclose.
Once more
That I
with
foolishly
feeling.
stopped you from completing.
Oh, well, I will tell you that your hands will be quite full if
Once more with feeling.
you go down that path, and I do say your hands, even though I understand that what you're suggesting here is that it would be my responsibility, and I did half offer that in the past, so I'm not rescinding the offer. But the way that they work, you will not be able to get away from here without them knowing that you had been here in the first place. No threat, and certainly not information they would get be able to pull from my lips. Just, unfortunately, a fact.
We're quite used to being followed.
yeah,
You
it's
have
actually-
capable people with you, as well as being a very strong woman yourself.
Terrifying cunt. And she raises her glass.
she'll chuckle. It's one of those like chuckle into the glass sort of situations.
I believe that we have confessions to make to one another.
Oh, please, is this a table wide or just ourselves?
I'd like you to start, and you can trust these two further than you can trust me.
The executrix is my daughter. She was set to marry him. That's why I know him so well. He is not of her tastes because he is not a very nice man. She had aspired to living a better life. However, it had never changed. The details had never changed. So of course I knew where the will was. However, she's not here, and you are. And whereas I would have played this very differently in the past, as I said to you when we met, I don't think I want to return to the life that I had before. I think
Once more with feeling.
I learned my lesson.
And
So-
I think that we can benefit from one another.
She'll actually reach into, because like almost like a cardigan or whatever it is that she's wearing over her dress, and she'll produce you can clearly see aged envelope from inside there and place it on the table in front of her.
I can make that say anything, and these guards will follow it to the letter.
I want to read it.
You would get thrown in jail. I could
Terrible.
stop that from happening. And I would. I would stop that from happening. I'd like to appoint you the head of this business. I'd like you to have a life of luxury, but there would be stipulations.
Continue.
I would need you as a contact. You would treat the servants well and pay them. And I will need favors from time to time. Nothing that should put you in harm's way, but I do hope that we can remain friends.
You are the kind of person that I would like to remain friends with.
Warm smile. Likewise.
It's being, she says, patting on the paper. It was, Nori didn't like a lot of people. He didn't trust anybody, so your story on the nose made no sense because there's no way he trusted his mother, let alone trusting a woman, no matter how talented she was. You have no idea how much work it took to get my daughter to be the executrix in case things went sideways and then the wedding was called off anyways, but that doesn't matter. I had never seen the will prior to today. Oh, sorry, prior to last night. He was leaving it to my son. The two of them were quite friendly. It sounds wrong for a mother to be willing to make a bargain to take something that belongs to her son legally and rightfully. But I can assure you two things. One, should my son get his hands on these assets, things would not go in a way that would appease you, what I believe your mentality to be, especially considering you have an active duty Maltese soldier at your side that very likely is nothing like Rayrin Corvain. And two, I know, without a shadow of doubt in my mind, that he will be just fine without it. And please don't inquire further on that, as I'm not willing to share.
I can respect that. And given a change of heart, it will be your decision to make where to pass the business, won't it?
Will be.
I'd also like to offer you something that I can give.
She looks at you.
If you help us in good faith, I will work hard to find out how to locate your son.
And your daughters.
My daughters, I know where they are. Please. I don't know if I gave that misinterpretation before. Unless they've on some sort of holiday, like yourself, she says, gesturing to Oscar. I know where my daughters are. One of them is comfortably and happily married, as far away from here as she possibly can be, as we discussed before. And the other one is just, well, she's business-minded and she's handling her business. My son, however. It sounds like you found the perfect way to hook me. I have no intention of, in the past, perhaps fiddling with this arrangement that we have here and trying to make the best of it. But honestly, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. Always trying to manipulate everyone around you. God, the foolish ones just hurt you. How much effort you put into people that you just don't even want to interact with. But you need them. And the keen ones are keep you up at night. Did you misstep or misspeak there? It's exhausting. I'm looking forward to honesty.
Well,
I'm looking forward to honesty with someone. I was fortunate enough to have that for a period of time, but that fortune found itself in a cell where I didn't know any moment of any day if another one of the leaders of that kingdom was just going to walk through the door and strip me naked again, or put an axe to my skull, or remove my tongue, or one of the many other things that troubled man did.
When you have time, I would like to know anything and everything about Rare and Corvain. Not for me to hunt, but there are people who need to know when a deserter does what a deserter does.
It's funny you should ask this, Constantinople.
Let's first of all drop that pretense anyways.
should anyone ask? His name is Credence.
Credence!
Should anyone ask. But for you, for honesty's sake, my name is Oscar McLaughlin. I'm a master Venator.
Feldspar.
Laszlo Hennigar, but don't use that name if you don't want the Arcane Congress to hate you.
My name is actually Alifi Grearis, to be clear. And it's funny that you should ask that, Oscar, and it's a pleasure to meet you, sir. It's funny that you should ask that, because when I was captured and detained for an extended period of time, the deal that I had happened to make with the Chosen, my apologies, that's his title, Chosen of the Quill, with the Chosen, is that for the safety of my son and potentially my own safety, to give to them all the information that I had about the way that Hardgwen happened to run their what's it called, government, how it happened to run, and to give them any degree of guidance I could to help end the water crisis, as they called it over there, and end the war quickly. It's just funny that the next, I suppose, acquaintance that I should make should ask me to also document details about him. And I said before that we had definitely an acquaintance going on. I would not call him my friend. I am willing to give you that information.
Even if it doesn't result in anything that would come to harm of him, it's just... well, let me be frank. The reason why I know his name, why I know him, is because his name came across my desk. Do you know what a Venator is?
Unfortunately, I'm not particularly familiar with Malta.
Venators hunt mages.
Oh.
Gish, which is the type of warrior that Raren was, they use their swords to weave magic. When a Gish deserts...
A bluish glow. I've seen it.
Yes. When a Gish deserts, it comes to a Venator. We pay attention. We monitor. Just in case they were to raise their blades against a Malta.
Well, I suppose the first bit of information I should give you is not actually about Rayrin, but instead about the other two Chosen. All of them can weave magic.
Fun.
But again, the one you should truly be concerned with is the one that's... Well, apparently his name is One. Chosen of the Blade is his title. Just to give you a small taste of what kind of person this is, and then I guess I could stop there because that is not your interest. but should you ever cross paths, to give you a small taste of what kind of person he is, when he defeated my son on the battlefield, a defeat that my son actually had coordinated himself in an attempt to rescue me from my imprisonment. He was able to get away, but that doesn't matter. Before fully capturing him, before the battle, this man took my guise and tried to manipulate him, and he would stoop to such levels. From what I understand, his representation of myself was not exactly kindly. It was a period of time where my son and I were both in cells near one another. We weren't supposed to speak, but you know how guards are, staring at one wall for long periods. Occasionally they would doze, and we would be able to exchange a few words. Very few.
Illusions. What type of magics have you seen these chosen use?
Actually, Dungeon Papa, hey Josiah, I know. That's why I use the word. Because I love it. I'm sorry, chosen. Go ahead.
What type of magics have you seen these chosen use?
I can't get much into detail about that because unfortunately I am not skilled in any degree of magic whatsoever. Again, that sort of thing is rather rare in Adir.
Okay.
Well, we know illusions. And we know a gish.
Don't forget teleportation.
Yeah, that's true.
That was done with a room.
Still need someone to be able to maintain it. Well,
All I've got's seduction.
It's a power of its own, I guess. I mean,
it's
well, no,
a
it
lot more
is.
magic than I wield.
It's how you bend magic users to your will and have many of them at your beck and call if and when you need them. Instead of wasting your years away inside of a dusty old room and dim light, withering your eyes as you're trying to learn one or two incantations, you enjoy an evening of dancing, laughter, perhaps more, a few drinks, and they cast those spells for you. I think you have the real power here. The power to enjoy your work.
And that I do. I do think that we have a will to draft.
I have a door to finish.
Well, and I pull out books after books and put them on the table. I believe Nori was harboring Paradel soldiers. Something
And to
that could.
attest
She
to
actually
that,
sharpens her look at you and says, "Excuse me?"
We were
Yes.
attacked when he approached the first time.
No. Excuse me. Are you... I don't mean to suddenly change the tone on you, but you're saying that Nori was housing Paradel soldiers?
We believe that he was smuggling them in. For what purpose, we don't know.
his eastern dock is where they come in. The guard who I spoke to, Josiah Papa, gave me that information. He was very thorough, and this is what we know. And Oster would kind of motion over to Laszlo to finish that sentence.
We also know that Paradel is working to undermine the governments here and the structures here. And they're doing so by using the means of arcane congress materials, wands, scrolls, whatever, with the minimalists of intelligence on how to use it. That is what caused the death of Lily, an innocent.
I don't think you understand my surprise in this. He hates the parrot. So,
Was it dementia, maybe?
He may not have been doing it willingly.
I can give you detail if necessary, but Nori has always hated Paradel and their warlike and the whole inclame. It is the idea that he would be working with them means that somebody had gotten to him prior. This actually makes me wonder if it is somehow linked to why it is that he died.
It almost certainly is. That was actually something I was going to ask you. Now, do you know of anyone who would want him dead, other than the many opposing business partners?
I am so removed. I could not, but I suppose in the next coming weeks, months, and God forbid years, I could uncover the details. But it is... I don't mean to discredit all the effort you probably put into uncovering this, but I almost dare ask you to check your evidence again and to confirm.
Well, to be fair, we haven't actually started our investigation yet. We are only going based off of the fact that they were here and they attacked us.
The guards
And-
took the corpses as well.
Yes.
They were posing as servants here. The servants here said that they had been here for a time. We know that they were regularly coming in and off of the ship on the eastern dock. I'm not suggesting that we don't have enough evidence to move forward, but I agree what we have is a piece. But it is what we believe currently based on the evidence we do have. And it was only fair to share that with you as it currently stands. But again, as I believe Griselda mentioned to you yesterday, there's an ongoing investigation in this house. We're not just referring to the one that the guards are undertaking.
It got messy. Much messier than we planned.
Yes, that was what the ceremony was.
I was able to surmise the details, ask around town and the like. I didn't need to bother you with that, and I think what you did was a kind thing, but well, it looks like I'm going to have a lot of work cut out for me as we're trying to discern exactly what it is that happened here.
While we're not rushing away, we won't be here forever, but we do want to put the effort in to find out what's happening here. I don't want to necessarily speak for both of you as well, but I would like to understand.
We need to stop it. We need to stop any way that Peridot can come into this country.
Precisely. They sailed to the north into the lake, and they may have gone east. There's a river to the east. You can't see it from the dock there. But that river sails into Peridot.
Perhaps what we can do at the very least is go over the documents that you have in those books before you, because I'm familiar with the binding, and actually I know who binds those, who actually crafts the books themselves. Maybe details can come from that, or he's probably passed by now. It might be his son that took over the business. Doesn't matter. I'll help you parse through the information that you have there. We'll see what we can do. And we'll come to that conclusion next week on Aurorum, Thronekeeper.
Dun, 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 dun.
As it is 50 minutes past 2. And
Yeah,
We have a real
day.
habit of going
Fucking
overtime, huh?
Fell into our laps, and I love it.
Yep. Yeah, actually, you know what's funny? Want to know why she fell into your laps? And the way you handled it, Doxy? This is a trump card from Van Sexel.
Man, you can't fuck with this man. You can't. Sorry.
So, like the
No,
fact
you
that
absolutely can. Please don't try in the future.
you're like in the library. I'm like, awesome. This is exactly where I need to be. And I'm like, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take the book. I'm gonna throw it in front of her face. I'm gonna piss her off. And then I was like, it all worked perfectly. She's like, thank you. Took the thing. Just let it all play out from there. You know what I mean? It was like, oh, it just went beautifully. But then your character was just like, no, I want to be friends with you. No, I'm going to no, I'm going to try. And the problem is that as you now understand this character to a degree, Lady Grearis, you remind her of herself when she was younger, except not an evil person. And she is currently at a crossroads in her life where she's like, I don't think I want to be evil anymore.
Aw, kindred.
She's pulling a Laszlo.
Well, I mean, to be fair, she was kind of forced.
He's
was.
unintentionally pulling a Laszlo.
No, she was forced. She was walking she like paved the dark road. And then she's sitting there going, you know, we can add a couple streetlights, you know.
I'm just happy we're not in the Barrenlands.
Just
So-
to fuck that it played out the way it did. Like, I was not looking forward, and I know you weren't looking forward to like probing for NPCs to interview and be like, how do you feel about slaves next? How do you feel about slaves next? Like, I know that none of us were looking forward to that.
Well, I was just gonna go about this a very different way when we finally got here or whatever, right? I intended to go things about, but that trump card got thrown in, and it literally said, you know, let's do some interactive stuff, and I was like, so what is it? What am I looking for? Some political intrigue, and I was like, fuck it, I know who I'm gonna throw in their lap. I was like, they're not unbreakable, but she is a stiff woman, and it literally was. I was like, oh, this is beautiful.
I'm gonna be no lie. I'm proud of Doxy because you were mad. You were so mad when Scott was RPing her. It was on your face. I was just like, oh god.
But the funny part is, too, this is a character that has existed in canon since early season 3 of Kingmaker, and they're in like mid season 4, I think. Like she's been around for a while. She's an old hag. So
Well, I now have a ways and means to get some information on a certain deserter. May have to
Power of friendship.
may have to go and make a hunt of that later in life.
what a tie-in to get the campaigns together. What? It's almost like I just started talking about Queen Rena inside the Kingmaker campaign recently, and then you guys know the king. Oh my gosh, God. They almost want to. They actually met other people that worked with Rena, and they like the work that they're doing.
I don't know. She was not very good about describing one. One is not like for Laszlo is not okay.
Nope,
Yeah.
and neither is Reren. It's gonna be fun. I would love to get a session with all 9 of you.
Oh my god, that would be
That'd be
crazy.
chaos.
It'd be chaos. It would be chaos.
No, realistically,
fun.
it'd be great to have one from each to combine. Yeah. Or wherever it was taking place.
I'll hang
Let's
out
say-
with Val.
Well, if it was taking place in Adir, I'd
go.
probably do 2 and then 2. You know what I mean? Like the 2 from the one campaign, the 2 together. If
Yeah.
it was here, I'd probably do 2 from here, and then you know what I mean. So, either way, she's season 2. Jesus, she's from season 2.
And she's alive?
He's from the bank, right? Like that was when they first ran into her. Was when they did the bank.
They're entering the bank now.
No, okay.
Yeah, there's other people, I believe. But either way, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, I gotta pee.
It's really interesting because now Laszlo has someone else that was interacted with our shadowy friend, but there's no way for either of us to know that about it.
She's been pretty. So again, this is just spoilers that Josh is referring to. But when she said, "I know for a fact my son is safe," da 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 da. Should I even tell them?
No.
Yeah, we should just leave it alone. So, moving on. Well, Windboard. You don't need to share spoilers like that, buddy. Don't worry about it.
Hugh give true.
So turning her against that is huge, if true. Okay, true.
Yeah,
And
it's true.
that's the power of friendship.
See, Thronekeeper is just that is the quintessential, and the real treasure was the friendship you made along the way. That's what this campaign is. And here we are. We're gonna solve all the world's problems through friendship.
Vagina.
Oh yeah, you have back in Kingmaker, it's like earth, wind, water, and then you go over to Regicide, fire. Come over here, heart.
Care.
Well, hi Green. I know you're gonna like this one. Because Regicide or Kingmaker would not have handled her this way.
Regicide probably would be like, "What's your name?" You know what? Some old bitch was talking to me. I don't know.
Ellen was prepared to murder her if necessary.
Yeah, you were.
Dude,
She was
even-
prepared to. She did not want to.
even the
Oscar
way
was,
that,
I think, the least prepared to do that. out
even
of
the
the
way that
three.
you guys described how you're going to handle the situation when you actually got to it, Doxy handled it even slightly different from the prep talk with shirtless Oscar to actual dinner. She handled it slightly different because I was getting ready like, okay, this can still go down in a negative way. But then she tweaked it ever so slightly with her initial, she's like, okay, I'm going to be, but then you like, I don't know, it's just the way you approached it was just, it was like instead of choosing option C, you chose it C subcategory 2 or something, you know what I mean? And I was like, oh, you're actually like opening this immediately as, we can be friends. Let's be friends, okay? As opposed to, what are you up to? Because I might want to be a friend with you, but I'm not fucking sure right now. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, I don't know, it was kind of like it was accepted the second one. I don't know. It was like, I was like, oh, this is fun.
I mean, persuasion check, pull the sword out and put it to their throat. That's persuasion, right?
Right, that's persuasion. That's
Listen,
persuasion.
you don't pull your sword out and swing it at anything but a devil, okay? She might be a devilish woman, but come on.
All right.
He certainly has her eye on Oscar.
Well, I mean, she it's funny because she, like she said, she knew the accent specifically from Rayrin.
It makes perfect sense. I didn't put those two together until
Yeah.
you said that. And I was like, oh.
Yeah. I was, and she obviously, everybody knows about mandatory military service inside of Malta, so that's why it was one of those. And she had lots of long conversations with him where they would have interactions. So again, it was one of those. I was like, oh, I love the opportunity to be able to play her with Oscar because she gets to know things she usually wouldn't know. She's not that well traveled, you know?
Yep.
So I don't know.
Yep.
Good game.
Yeah, it did not turn out the way I thought we were going to be screwed. The minute he said that, I was like, no.
I mean,
I was very distressed.
Oh, I'm really happy. Doxy, you did a hell of a job changing that because it would have been way more aggressive if I handled it. Way more aggressive.
I'm very, this is like, I love the fact that the different cast members pop into the different shows, but with the exception of, I think, Jake and Josh, nobody watches like them like consistently, you know what I mean? So that means that Neil gets to walk into and Tesh gets to walk into them for the most part, if not completely ignorant. Same thing with Doxy and you.
Yeah, no one tell Neil that he's.
Yeah, that's gonna happen. That's gonna happen.
It's probably already there. Who
knows?
The spoilers chat. They probably like.
I'm going in right now. I'm
I
going
looked
in
it
right
also.
now. We're gonna find out. Hold on.
Be careful. If you
I
haven't been in
s-
spoilers chat in a while, it's thousands.
No,
of messages.
this is way too much. This is way too much fucking text. I'm not reading through this.
No, it's crazy. It blew up last week to now. It's been crazy.
I read
There are
every
over
mess-
900 messages in here
Oh, that's
since I
it.
last looked at it. So this is
Oh.
not happening.
So
I'm not.
I usually read every message in all of
Oh,
Discord.
it's in there.
I usually
Yep.
do. I try to. But last week, sorry, there was like 3,000 messages in like a day ish. That was like I just can't. I don't have time for this right now. But anyways, it's one of the reasons why I sleep so little. I climb in bed and then I spend the next hour reading Discord before I fall asleep. I'm like, oh God, this is gonna take me so long. First I do the whole on my cell phone. It says 25 plus. Okay, 50 plus. So I'm like, Jesus, 472. Okay, let me get a coffee.
Yeah. When that train gets rolling, it's bad.
I love it though. I genuinely do. I like seeing people like how Green in Norway. Those are the same person.
Those are the same person.
How
Good
John
effort.
in Norway agree about 88%. And what they'll do is they're like da 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 da, and they're either in stride with one another and they'll like fight the tide together as like a tandem army, which is like a force, which is awesome. Or they like turn on each other for a second and they like figure out that like 12% difference like pretty quickly, and then they turn, they tandem fight.
Yeah.
I love it.
I
It's so
mean,
good.
I if I was gonna say something, Green, you're lawful good. John, lawful neutral.
Yo, yes,
Some of the things you've said, I was like, oh, that's some shady. He's like, it's within the bounds of code.
yo.
I'm like, oh, all right.
No, I agree. Lawful good, lawful neutral. It's like that's why they're like 12% different. You know what I mean? Because even green is like lawful good. You know what I mean?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
Green's good. Green's a good guy.
Whereas John is like lawful neutral, but like he hangs out with the good people, so he could feel like he's a good person too. You know what I mean? Oh, so funny. All right, I'm sorry.
I mean, I consider myself chaotic good. Like, that's what I consider myself, and I feel evil next to green.
I don't concern myself with alignment. I do what I do, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
I try my
my
best,
morals. I don't know. I think they're pretty solid.
I consider most people to be true neutral that lean this way or that way, but they're actually true neutral. Most people lack the convictions to actually be in alignment outside of true neutral.
Well, you
I'm
know,
not saying
but I
you
have to
don't,
say that I'm
but-
lawful Canadian, so here we are.
Yeah, but
That's
Canadian laws are just
Neutral
like, you know,
good. That's
don't-
neutral good.
It is neutral good.
don't be-
Yeah, you're
don't you
wrong.
know.
Lawful Canadian is neutral good.
No.
It's just like Boston. We found out today is neutral evil. They just
Neutral
start
baby.
there. And
Neutral baby.
neutral baby. Oh my God. Oh no.
Okay.
I'd like to go to bed now.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
It's 2 a.m.
You kept going, man. I thought you were gonna be like, and she'll show up next week. But nope.
It was too good. It was too in the moment.
Yeah.
Doxy?
Hi, I'm Zero Doxy. I like butts and farting. You're gonna like my channel, twitch.tv/ZER0DOXY. I just became not a prostitute in the eyes of a certain website, so keep an eye on my Twitter if you want to see me naked. Except for not actually naked.
Oh, hold up. Is it live or is it going live?
Not yet.
Not it's well,
Stay
it's
tuned.
live. There's nothing really on it yet.
Gotcha. Okay, perfect. Thank you. And Joshua.
Hey, I'm a funny one. Check out my channel. I play video games. I'm trying to get into the tabletop RPG world. I'm trying not to do D&D because D&D has enough people playing D&D. So I'm trying to learn different systems. The next game,
Do you
I
want
think
to
I'm gonna.
DM 7th game?
I've thought about it. My next game I think I'm going to do is the Star Trek RPG. So I think I'm going to do that next. I also do have a homebrew world I want to do, and I'm thinking about trying to learn Pathfinder for that. But Pathfinder's a monster. But that's me. Check out the channel. On Mondays I play Call of Cthulhu with a couple of people that are all edgy.
I do want to say, can we have your commanding officer of Star Warping? I don't remember the shit's called. Can it be like, beam me up, Daelric?
It depends on what the players play. If
Is
there's
there-
no engineer,
Is there a
then
Patreon
sure.
so I can make that character?
No, there's no
Beam me up, Daelric.
You should make a Patreon for that. Anyway, but definitely do the Star Trek system. It's a great system. It's one of the few that I've read into myself and actually really like. So
Anything else, sir?
No, that's me. That's me.
Oh,
Ask
him.
Will. Will's a
Him.
good guy.
Oh.
Well,
me. Oh God, sorry. Yes. I'm making a board game with some friends, which is really cool.
Hey,
We're
that's me. I'm that guy.
yeah, you're one of them. And so I am over at arcanusentertainment.com. There you can find information about when we're going to be going live with that board game. It's Schism. The first version of that is Schism Immolation of Othenfur. It's set in Ollie's homebrew world of Yarviskir. But we are converting that into a world of small skirmishes and battles told across the history of that world, where you can play as champions and some very cool minis, which is always very fun. It's meant to be an introduction to tabletop wargaming, so if you've never done war games, or if you are an expert, it should be something that you'll enjoy, hopefully, if you're into that kind of stuff. So
It is very cool.
it's very fun to play too. I actually played another game pretty recently. We were play testing a couple of characters, and I played around with one of the new sets that we're looking at building, and I am super excited about that one. But I can't talk too much about that one yet. So
It's a ways off.
it's a ways off. I don't want to hype you up too much, but the Immolation of Othenfur one is also fantastic, and it's the most complete
It's
at this point. So
Fucking a great introductory set.
So Yeah, it's very exciting. That's the main thing I'm doing. On Saturdays, I'm playing Divinity Original Sin 2 over on my Twitch channel, just at Will and Graham, which is with Lightning and Tiv and Tantus. Once that is done, I am actually calling it quits on streaming for the rest of my life. We'll see what happens about that. But for now, that's the plan.
You guys are also doing streams on Arcanist, right? Twitch.
We
now?
are. So that's actually that's
We've
not
only
me.
been doing Sims so far. It's been
Yes.
me and Josiah.
That's right.
It is a fucked up, crazy time.
It's a time. There's
there will
a
be actually Arcanist focused
streams. Yeah.
content soon.
But one of the actual really cool things that we've been doing recently is posting a bunch of like art and stuff on our Twitter over at Arcanist, where you can also stay tuned to pick up on when those streams are happening, because that's where we post that. So yeah, it's a fun time. Also, Scott, I will actually need your address at some point, by the way.
Are you finally coming?
We'll talk.
Well, let's just say it won't
Wording.
stop.
Just saying.
That table looks stable. We can change that. All right. And I'm Daelric. You already found me, so you're here. If you choose to subscribe on YouTube, don't click that bell, or click it and learn why you shouldn't have. If you want to support the channel, you are already by being here, and thank you for that. I appreciate it. If you want to support it more, I'm pretty sure you already know how. By continuing to be here, and thank you for that too. Otherwise, there's links. Thank you, everybody. And I will see you tomorrow night when we play Aurorum Regicide. That session also has some interesting stuff going on, doesn't it, Tyler, who is currently in chat and a cast member over there? Don't forget to bring your pizza, because I have mine. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
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 Bye.